Here is this is a perfect holiday time magic trick, okay? Real simple. Involves a paper napkin and a drink. And you say, look, I'm going to put the drink right there in the napkin like that. They can watch it in full view, right? This is great for bars. It's great for restaurants. You can use a borrowed drink, your own drink, whatever. And you say, look, does someone have a quarter? Someone owns your quarter, like this, okay? You say, keep an eye on the quarter. I don't know if you know this, but out of all the coins, the penny, the nickel, the dime, the dollar, the quarter is made up of the materials that will dissolve the most quickly when put in a very strong acid. It'll dissolve. And as a magician, I'm going to try to turn up the speed on this in a sense. Keep an eye on the quarter, because I'm going to try to turn up, like sort of how quickly it'll, watch the quarter. I'm going to throw it into the glass. Switch it around. Made it dissolve. It's dissolving so much, in fact, that I don't know if you can see this, but they can look in the glass, and even though they saw you throw a coin into the glass, they heard it. It looks like it's not there. It looks like it's completely vanished. So the hard part isn't getting it to dissolve. The hard part is to shake it so all the molecules of the quarter melt down through the glass. And that's not even the hard part. The hard part is to get the molecules to come back together. And of course, you ask someone to lift the paper napkin underneath the glass, and they find there is, in fact, the quarter. And of course, everything can be examined. Glass can be examined, napkin, quarter, the whole bit. Now, this is a very old principle. It's a very old principle. As you can hear my throat, guys, I'm now into day, what is it? I think it's day 18 or 19 with this cold, but I'm doing much better. I'm almost done. And I've been doing a lot of performing over the holidays, and the performing never really gives me a break. Oh, just in case you're wondering what's on my hand, there you go, the whole zombie thing. I'm always behind the curve on stuff, guys, so I'm, of course, into now season 8 of Walking Dead, sort of binge watching it, and it is kicking my ass. I love it. Having said all this, I'm going to teach you the secret here. Now, this is a principle you can do a lot of different things with. It's a very old principle. I'm also going to show you how you can do this, because I know some of you are thinking, oh, I bet he's using a duplicate quarter, right? Not the same quarter he started with. I'm going to show you how you can do this with a marked quarter. So someone can mark the quarter if you want, and I'll have a few ideas with that. And you can still do this crazy trick where you take the coin, throw it in the water, they hear it, they see it, your hand's empty, lift the glass, and again, the marked quarter appears underneath. I'm going to share all that with you on this. And as you can see, this is a great, Christmas parties, holiday parties, at the office, wherever you are. You and your friends are binge drinking behind the school, a little clink, clink of the glass. This is perfect for all that stuff. So I'm going to teach you all the secrets. I'm also going to reveal the last week's winners. Last week was for public transit, a traveling hole effect with a sign card. Very cool. 12 of you won. I'm going to announce the winners here. But let's jump in, because this week I'm going to give away my envelope gimmick. Now, envelope is a series of very cool mentalism tricks you can do. Dollar bills, playing cards, receipts from stores, all these kinds of cool things using a simple window envelope. It's a mentalism thing. I've developed a bunch of things over the years with window envelopes, but this is Omnilope. You can check it out, as always, at sankeymagic.com, okay? Let's jump in. What is going to be the question of the week? How about this? I didn't even have this prepared, but I just throw this out here. What's the last thing you'd like to drink a glass of? Someone puts it down in front of you. What's the last thing? And again, as always, points for imagination, creativity. You don't have to go for the obvious stuff, but what's the last thing? Maybe something you're allergic to, maybe a booze combination. The last drink you ever want to drink in your life. What is it? Leave a comment down below. You're automatically entered the contest for your chance to win one of 12 of my envelope gimmicks, okay? That's the question of the week. Let's jump into this trick. So there's many ways to deceive people. And one of the things I'm hoping on this channel that you're understanding, you're getting into, is that the goal isn't to deceive people. You go, what? Magic tricks, isn't the goal to deceive? No, no. That's a tool. That's a means. When you deceive people with something they can't make sense of, they experience, ideally, wonder. Now, if you present the trick like a lot of jerk magicians do with this whole, gotcha, hey, you're a loser, hey, I know something you don't know, they're not going to feel wonder. They're going to get mad. They're going to resist getting on board, which is why I encourage you to find your way to share these deceptions in a way that's playful, fun, low-key, okay? I've never been into the gotcha. I'm more into the shared aha, if that makes any sense, the wonder of that. So, what's the principle here? The principle here is that you're deceiving people, okay, to get to wonder. You're deceiving people visually and audio, okay? And you're in theater, when you perform in theater, you deliberately do things a little too big so that the back of the room, way over there, it lands the right size. So it's a bit big, which is why when I threw that quarter in the glass, I deliberately made it a little too big of a gesture. This is a simple switch where you're going to switch the coin for a piece of ice. I mean, how perfect. They see you throw something in. Now, it's pretty bright here, got the lights set up, but normally in most restaurants and bars, it's a little dimmer. So even if I performed it here and you kind of thought, I wasn't totally convinced the coin went in, trust me, you do this in the real world, nobody sees you switch in that piece of ice. So, let's talk about this. Before we get the piece of ice, let's look at my quarters, okay? Because I did, in fact, for this performance, use 2 quarters, okay? Quarter 1, quarter 2. You are using 2 quarters, but I did say I was going to share with you a method where you can use it with marked coins, which is really cool, all right? What's the setup? Notice that if I say, and these are the psychological points that make all the difference, and for those of you who subscribe to the channel who are looking for that next level information, you know, gotta say it, speaking of next level information, if you really want to, these are beginner tricks, this is all beginner. There's a whole world of intermediate and advanced, the psychology, difficult sleights of hand, whole other levels of mind-blowing stuff on my training site, InsideDeception.com, InsideDeception.com. Check it out. Memberships start at $9.95. So many cool things going on. Watch, recently we put out a new promo video on the site too. Check that out as well. Having said that, here we go. I need to switch the quarter for a piece of ice. Now, if I start this trick, and this is the psychology, if I start this trick by saying, okay, let's do something, I need to borrow a coin. Does someone have a coin? People are gonna start thinking quarter tricks, sleight of hand, coin tricks, palming. Maybe he's got something in his hands. So you gotta do what information and in what order. That's the key to all communication. What information, what order. And the order here is very important. What I have is I have a second quarter here, okay? It's in my hand, it's under the napkin. And I don't say, here is something with just an ordinary napkin. Notice I have nothing else in my hand but an ordinary napkin. Because that's a great people to get suspicious. People are suspicious. Instead, I say, here's something with a napkin. And I've got the quarter here, my fingers. Okay? Real casual here like this. So I'm going to use 3 things. And if you can say to them, this is a trick that uses 3 things, or here's an illusion that uses 3 things, then you've got a natural flow moving forward. No one stops at the first or second. Understand? Okay. 3 things. First, I'm going to use a napkin. Put that down, casually leaving the quarter underneath, okay? Boom, like this, leave the quarter underneath. Now, don't want to forget, if you're living in the U.S. and you're worried about the quarters matching a quarter and somebody being a pain in the ass and looking at the exact marking on the quarter, use nickels. All the nickels match, or pennies, okay? Doesn't matter. You're loading this on the table. Okay, so that's the first one, goes down the table like that. Now, some of you are going to say, but wait a second, what happens if there isn't a tablecloth? I'm at the bar and there's a counter. People are going to hit the coin, hear the coin going down. So you know what I do in that case? I've riffed this so many times. Here's something with a napkin and we're also going to use a drink. And I just go cling, 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 and I hit the cup against the counter and that covers the sound. Okay? It's just about flowing and using the situation. I've loaded the quarter under the napkin. I put the drink here like this. Now, before I even started the trick, I was waiting to get to this because I didn't want it melting in my hand. I've got a piece of ice. It's approximately, I don't know, it's a small piece of ice. You want something a bit bigger than smaller. You don't want a teeny little thing that's going to go pew, pew, tick, when you put it in the water. Something was in my way. So that started there. I'm holding the glass. I've got this. There we go. I've got this in my hand. I can hold the glass like this, hold the glass like this. This was the one hand. This goes down like that. I'm all set to go with a piece of ice in my hand secretly, right? Once this is in my hand, if it's a big enough piece, I can just sit here and let it drip to the floor for 30 seconds, a minute. It's just sitting there. It's just water, right? So I've got the napkin, I've got the glass. I also need a coin. Someone got a nickel because nickels dissolve the quickest under strong acid. Who's got a penny? I'll change my story there. Whatever. You borrow it so it matches the coin underneath, right? Say. So as a magician, I'm going to have this dissolve. Now, it would normally take, it's particularly like water, just water, probably take 100 years to dissolve. So we're going to turn up the speed on this. And I just do a simple transfer. This is a David Roth shuttle pass, where I'm turning the hand over, kind of bringing the hand together, the two hands, and I'm just keeping this in the finger palm here while holding this light as if I got a coin here, but I've just got the piece of ice, okay? I say, and I don't say, watch me drop it in. I say, I'm going to turn up the speed. And as I say, turn up the speed, I throw it in. And I don't drop it in, I chuck it. I want them to see something go in, I want them to hear something go in. Now, This is a glass of water. Perfectly clear, in a glass that's perfectly clear. Much of the time, if you're looking at a glass of Coke or you've got some booze going on, it's colored liquid. So there's even less of a chance for them to see that you didn't throw a coin in, okay? But they certainly saw you take the quarter, take it in the other hand, chuck it in, and your hand's empty. And they heard and saw something go in. So all the ingredients are there to convince them that the coin went in the glass, okay? Boom, like that. I found people think this is kind of a stunt too, as if you just sort of dirtied your drink to make a point or something. This is here in finger palm, all right? You can leave it there. Your hand can be in your lap. You can drop it in your lap. You can leave it on your leg, get rid of it, whatever you want, or hold it out. There's going to be no heat on this left hand, like this. Now, I do this. I do this because I want to stretch the moment. I don't want to do this and then show the glass is empty, and so maybe someone will think, at that point, you're setting them up to think that he throws something else. Maybe he threw some ice. Unlikely, but people will do it. But with a time lapse here, I move this so they can't see if there's a coin in here. I do this to stretch the moment, the time from when I dropped it to when I'm going to reveal. These all add to the drama. Okay? Also, you can treat this as a quick trick, sort of a gag, or if you take your time, all of a sudden it gets raised to a little bit of a moment of theater, a little piece of theatrical piece. People invest more, the reaction will be greater. Okay? All the psychology. I'm here like this. I'm saying I'm going to dissolve it. Dissolve. I don't lift it off, but you could. It wouldn't be the end of the world. Say I'm dissolving it here like this. Dissolving it, dissolving it. In fact, getting so the particles are so small, actually, they'll start to pass through the glass. And this is fun, because this is where people think they get ahead of the glass. How can it pass through? Is it going to vanish? The coin going to vanish? Is it going to maybe appear under the glass? But you're already one step ahead of that. So you get a natural building of the impossibility. More theater, more reactions. You're here like this, going down through the glass like this. And then do not rush. Give every magic moment its due. What's the first trick? The first trick is the coin's gone. Don't rush to the last trick. Let them see. Look, actually gone. Looks like it vanished, but it didn't vanish. What do you mean? Sure, it vanished. No, it didn't vanish. It passed through. What do you mean pass through what? Yeah, it passed through the glass and it passed through the napkin. Very important that at this whole point you're not fiddling with the napkin. And then when you have somebody else lift off the napkin, you've got that delicious moment of expectation when people start to go, no, 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 no. And then they remove the napkin and boom. Now notice, if you remove the napkin, which is not the end of the world, doesn't destroy the illusion, because you're going to come in really carefully, emphasize the cleanliness, pull this back. Notice, what can you do now? Well, you can ball this up here. Get rid of it. I just got rid of the extra quarter. Gonzo. Okay, now, I said I was going to show you guys a way to do this with a marked coin. A marked coin. So it can be marked from the beginning and the marked coin ends on underneath. How do you do that? Before I reveal that, let's give away last week's public transit winners. You guys won. Congratulations. If I say your name right now, two things. One, think, oh, poor Jay. He's got that cold. I know, 18 days, 19 days. If I say your name, email my team. I want to send you that gimmick. You're going to love it. Public transit gimmick. Email my team at contact@sankeymagic.com. Email them, okay? Let them know your real name, your YouTube name. Let them know your middle name. Let them know your favorite animal. What is your spiritual animal? Is your spiritual animal maybe a porcupine? Or is it maybe a Shriner? Brent Mayer, M-A-I-E-R, you won. Adam Eli David, boom, boom, boom. A-E-D, you won, man. Michael LaMonica, he plays the harmonica. Michael LaMonica, you won. Wow, here's a cool name. Denovan, D-N-O-V-A, Wirt, Denovan Wirt. Sounds like an arch nemesis of an old Superman. Yannick Link, boom. We all know what trick he does. Yannick Link. Barry Mendonca, you won. KJ Strickland, winner. Derek Glenn. Dwayne Hargrove. Oscar Plata. Andrew Dardis, you won. And Moses Lupai. L-U-P-A-I, you won. Okay, you guys all won. Awesome. All right. Mark coin. How do you do with a mark coin? You do not have to do this trick with a mark coin. Does it add to the magic? I'll tell you real quick. It does add in the magic. Not because it makes it more impossible. Magicians love having things marked, and therefore it couldn't have been a duplicate. But for this kind of magic where your hands are so empty, it's boom, and there it's there. Most people think it's fast hands or something crazy. Nobody thinks duplicates. But what makes this stronger with a mark coin is it makes it, at that point with a mark coin, people are more invested. You've asked them to get a little bit more involved, and when that happens, the whole quality of the experience goes up. All right, so that's my thing with that. Now, mark coins. If you're going to do a mark coin, here's what you have to do. You're going to do a little bit more switching, okay? Because what you're going to restructure this a little bit. Okay, and it's a little bit trickier here because you're going to have to get your ice and all that going on. But here's the basic principle with a mark coin. So you're going to have someone mark a coin at the beginning. They put their initial on it like this, okay? You got your mark coin here. You're going to have your duplicate coin in early, all right? Now, what I've done in this case, and I've only done this once or twice. Usually, whenever I've done this at a bar with friends, I don't use a mark coin. But you're going to want to get a few pieces of ice on a napkin in your lap early, okay? Not an hour early, it's just a paper napkin. Grab a few pieces. When you're sipping your drink and no one's looking, fish out a couple of pieces of ice. Put them on a paper napkin, have that sitting in your lap, okay? A couple of pieces of ice in your lap, and like this, you're sitting at the bar, the counter's here, whatever. It's in your lap. Because you don't want to have to do these switches while having another piece of ice. And you don't want a piece of ice in your hand at the same time. Someone marks the coin. Boom. Mark coin. You go, great. Along with the mark coin, we're going to try something else. Okay, but it's good. We're going to actually dissolve this coin. And notice what I've done. I've used this time, rather than switching in the mark coin for a piece of ice, because I have a duplicate coin and the mark coin, all I've done here is I've switched the one for the other here like this. I put that down on the table, okay? You could, I've done this, it's filthy, dirty, dirty, filthy, filthy, dirty. But in a bar situation, everyone hanging out, sometimes what I've done is I put this, now keep an eye on a coin, okay? I'm not going to solve the coin, and the fun thing about, first, it's silly. Second, it means everybody gets to see it, because if you're performing for 5 or 6 people, as soon as this goes on the table and it's out of view, you've kind of lost the convincing visuals of the trick, okay? But you could put it between your teeth, but it is dirty, right? But let's assume I'm just going to put it here like this for now. Say along with it, I'm going to use 2 other things here. I'm going to use a glass of ice here. I'm going to use a paper napkin, put that on the table or smash the table, and I do the exact same thing. Now I'm loading the marked coin under the napkin. Same deal, right? Same deal. All I do now is say, look, now I talk a little bit more about the dissolving, show the coin. While showing the coin, what am I doing? My hand goes into my lap. I grab a piece of ice like this. We'll fish this one out of here. That is humongous. That's too big. But you're like this. Now, they think it's the marked coin, but it's not. You transfer here. Say, watch. Say, going to speed up the dissolving. Boom, you throw that in line like that. Okay. Boom, they see something go in the glass. They heard it go in. They see it go in. And what's cool is a second later. Now, notice, if you have no ice in the glass, and all of a sudden there's a piece of ice in the glass, not good. But if you got 5 or 6 pieces of ice in the glass, as soon as this goes in, nobody knows where you're going. So the piece of ice blends in. No one knows how many. And your exact same situation. I promised you would be, right? I promise now you'd be able to do this, do the swirl, talk about dissolving. And if you're going to do a marked coin, do talk about, it takes a little longer for the indelible ink to dissolve too. Really emphasize that. If you're going to go marked, go big or go home, right? Like this, and possibly it's gone here. It's not here like this. I have sometimes, side note here, you got to be careful. If they can see your hands are absolutely empty, if they're convinced they're empty, you can say boom like this and say, look, it's melted through the glass right into the middle of the... Now you're surprised. Now this builds, because you're going to reveal it in a second underneath, but it also has a surprise element, which I like. Because as soon as you do this, it's melted through down inside the napkin. Now they get ahead of you. Inside the napkin. How the hell did he get it inside? Oh, the whole thing was a gag. It's not even there. Okay. So the guy was kidding all, what the hell? So you get this zigzag, this back and forth psychology, which really can goose reactions. People can see the marked coin. Jay Sankey, good to his word. I promised you, you'd be able to see it with a marked coin. Very simple switches. Don't let me down. I need you to do 2 things, right? 2 things. 1, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, stop being a moocher. You get on this channel, you learn the tricks, you don't even commit a little bit. Give me that subscription. Do that. That's number 1. Number 2, don't forget to leave your comment, right? I want you to have a chance to win. What am I giving away this week? Who knows? Public transit. Want you to, oh no, that was for envelope. Yeah, my envelope trick. I want you to have a chance to win that cool envelope gimmick. Leave a comment down below. What is the last thing you'd ever like to drink in the universe? Something weird? Something crazy? Something funny? Okay? Subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you don't want to drink. I'm going to be dropping ice out of my crotch all day.